Welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
Mm-hmm. And we're joined by Jamie Bernadette.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. Maria Olsen.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Returning Maria Olsen. And the returning Camille Keaton.
Nice.
Hello there.
Right. All of I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. So it's very cool to have all three of you here at once.
Great to be here.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. So, first of all, Jamie, how did you get involved in playing Camille's daughter?
Well, I submitted for the role, actually, online. I knew the original film. I had seen it, but with the role description, I thought, there's no way I'm going to get this. So I just kind of submitted as a joke. And then I got asked for a tape, and then I sent in a tape, and then I got asked to go to a callback, and I remember thinking, if I meet Meir Zarchi, I'm good, because I still did not think I was going to get this role. And then I went in to the callback, and I met Meir, and I was happy, and callback went pretty well. And then they called me in a third time, and I was in a 5-hour callback where I read with a whole bunch of different actors, actresses, including Maria Olsen, and gave my input, actually, on the remaining roles, though they had not told me that I had the role yet.
So at that time, was Maria, were you already cast as the villain?
Oh, no, it would be still months and months before I was officially cast in that role. Yeah, it was a long casting process, very long, the longest I've had.
Yeah.
Me too.
So why didn't you think you'd get the role, Jamie? Was it just because, it is, an iconic horror movie? Or?
No, the role was like supermodel. I was like, that's just not me. I'm just not like a Victoria's Secret supermodel type. I know where I fit in, and yeah, even filming, I tried to get Meir. I said, we changed that line where I'm, Camille, Jennifer Hills is telling me, oh, my supermodel daughter, and biggest model in the world, and I was like, Meir, can we please change that to just model? And he's like, no, you're her daughter, and she thinks that you're the biggest. And I don't know. So I really was uneasy with that part of it. I don't know. I just don't think of myself that way. And I thought there's so many beautiful women, that are real supermodels that could have this. So I just never. That's why I didn't think I would ever get it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's good that you're humble.
I think you look like a beautiful model.
Right, yeah. But I guess...
That's my money.
You're welcome.
Your point with keeping the line.
Camille, did you have any say, who got to play your daughter or anyone in the movie?
No.
Yeah. Did you feel that you and Jamie had chemistry right away?
Yes. Yeah, that was part of the best part of making the film, Deja Vu, was working with Maria and Jamie.
Mm-hmm. Maria, because your character is the villain of the movie, but also, in your mind, what you're doing, especially at the beginning, is warranted. So is that when you're playing the character? Do you think of that, and is that also part of the reason that you were interested in the character?
Yes, actually, to both of your questions, I had to keep the thought in my mind when I was doing those scenes that she is right. I couldn't go into situations that Becky was going into thinking that what I'm doing and what she's doing is wrong. That just would not have worked for me. I had to believe in what she was doing with my whole head and my whole heart. And that's pretty much how I approached the character. And to be completely honest, I've forgotten what your second question was.
What is that part of the reason you were interested in the character?
For my audition, I got the very, very powerful scene to do where she says things like, my hands are dirty, but I'm God-fearing and I pay my taxes and I'm honest and things like that. So right from the get-go, I was confronted with a character whose belief in herself as an upstanding, righteous, God-fearing, honest person is super strong. And I knew she was going to be in all these horrible situations, doing horrible things, and that contrast really interested me, and I wanted to find a way to play that contrast convincingly so that both sides of her, the good side versus the bad side, could be seen, so to speak.
Yeah. And Jamie, what was it like to work with Camille and Maria? So Camille is your mom, and Maria is the villain.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I mean, it was surreal meeting and working with Camille because I did love the original so much. And it was funny, we just connected immediately. It was just, I don't know, we were so comfortable together. And then, yeah, Maria and I mean, I knew Maria before, but this is really where we became really close, was on this film. So, and I consider her, one of my best friends at this point, and that's from the time we spent on Deja Vu together. So just, it was great working with both of them. It was a dream.
Thank you.
Nice. So Camille, when did you know that they wanted to make Deja Vu? Like, when was it talked about that they want to do a direct sequel to the original movie?
Oh, I would say about a couple of months before.
Mm-hmm. Were you interested right away with the idea of reprising the character?
Well, I had been trying to get Meir to do a sequel for about 30 years, and I finally gave up. So I was really surprised when I got that call, and I said, "You are going to do a sequel to I Spit on Your Grave?" And he said, "Yes." And so I said, "Well, good."
Yeah. Were your ideas of wanting to do a sequel were they similar at all to the movie made?
No, I had some other ideas, but I'm the actor. I'm not the writer or producer. Yeah. But still, I would think it's the character you're connected to, so you'd have some ideas like where you would go with if you would ever take on the role again. Yeah, I did. Maria, were you I'm sure you've seen the original one, but were you a fan of the original one? And did you go back and watch it again to prepare for the movie?
Yeah, actually, I had seen it about 4 years before I auditioned. And as soon as I got the role, I actually went back and watched parts of it, not all of it, because to watch all of it would have opened Becky up to Camille's, to Jennifer's version of the story, and I purposely kept away from doing that. I just watched the scenes with Johnny and the boys, especially Matthew, because that fueled Becky's understanding of the situation and her righteous anger. So I did watch it in preparation for shooting, but only selective parts of it.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting too that they picked a female character for the villain in Deja Vu.
Well, the original is called Day of the Woman, so here we all are.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I agree. So, Jamie, you said you were already a fan of the original. Was it one of your favorite horror movies, or how connected to it were you?
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. It's just so raw and real. It's nothing about that entire film feels fake at all or glamorized. It's just in your face, the dark side of humanity. And I thought that was so incredibly powerful. One of the most powerful films I've ever seen.
So going in, it's great to play, to be in a movie that you like, the sequel to it, and to play with Camille. But you also have to know that there's going to be a lot of hard scenes to shoot. So, how do you prepare for a role like that?
Well, I mean, my preparation started months and months in advance. I watched the original several times. I researched gang rape, personal stories from victims. I watched on YouTube and read stories, learned statistics. I learned all kinds of things. So it was a lot of sleepless nights, let me tell you, filling your mind with that day in and day out. So that's how I began to prepare for something like this, is just to understand, going through something that traumatic, what that does to you mentally, physically, emotionally.
So even, doing that preparation, like when it comes time to actually film it, like, what's that experience like?
Well, I know, like, the rape week, what we called it, because it was 4 days of rape, it was very hard. It was, hard on the cast. It was hard on the crew. I had a couple of people come to me crying, saying they know someone's been raped. And, I mean, it was a very emotional week for everyone. It's not easy stuff to film.
Mm-hmm. How about for you, Maria, to film those scenes?
Well, I wasn't involved in a lot of those scenes. I only come in at the tail end, sort of, when the entire gang is together, and Christy, Jamie's character, just sort of walks off in the distance. So I wasn't really involved in the shooting of them. I was on the periphery, and I could see how upset Jamie was, for instance, when she came back to the trailer. I wasn't even on set for the shooting of those scenes. I was either in my trailer or not even there at all. But I could see how much it affected Jamie. And that was, that wasn't nice to see,
Sure.
But there are things we have to do if we accept roles like that, and we just have to power them through,
Mm-hmm. And it comes through in the movie. Camille, is there any similarities between you and the character this time? Because your character has spent all these years talking about the real instance, in the movie. And then you yourself have spent all this time, you're talking about the movie. Years later, you're doing interviews about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you kind of play off of that, like your real life experience of still talk about a movie you did decades ago, and then your character's sort of similar, even though but the character, it's a real experience.
Well, the character just it's basically the same character but older.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say by how many years. You probably know that already.
Right. You don't look at
and oh, well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
And I mean, I was looking forward to doing it, and I enjoyed doing the role.
Yeah. And I think one of the interesting themes of the movie is like the cycle. It's a cycle of revenge. Your character in the original movie's revenge, and then now the descendants of people you got revenge against are getting revenge, and then more revenge later on. So it's like a never-ending cycle. So it's not, really no good comes of that. It's just, I thought it was an interesting part of the movie. Anyone want to talk about that kind of it's almost like like an old family feud where this is going to go on forever, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, it's set up at the end almost for the siblings to be against each other, Christy and my two kids, who don't even know Christy exists. If ever the story moves on, that I think should be the backbone of the next installment. And as you said, it just carries on and on and on. There's no end, because I think it reflects the fact that there is never any change in basic human nature. And that in itself is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've had Camille on before, and we always would talk about the movie Deja Vu. And because it seemed like you guys filmed it a while ago, I guess, and there was, I guess, they're editing and everything. So Jamie, was that hard to deal with, that you filmed something a while ago and it took a while for it to actually be released?
I mean, it happens a lot in our business.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of expected, to be honest. Like, we get used to that stuff for sure as actors. So.
Yeah. So when you finally see the finished movie, what did you think of it?
I mean, I thought it was very unique. Meir didn't pay attention to any inside-the-box thinking, any rules. He told the story he wanted to tell and the way he wanted to tell it. I thought all the characters were really interesting. There was nothing boring about it. I thought it was very innovative and might even inspire filmmakers to go down paths that they wouldn't want to dare go down. I feel like so many films now, it's the same pattern over and over. Like by 30 minutes in, you have your first kill. And, like certain things have to happen. It has to be a certain length and all these quote unquote rules someone invented that's fixating filmmakers to make the same thing over and over. So I thought it was very unique. I was very happy with it.
You mentioned it's not boring, and I don't think it is either. And going in, I was surprised the run, because it is a long movie. It's like over 2 hours. Were you surprised by the runtime? And then when you watch it, I don't think you really notice it.
I mean, yeah, I think we were all surprised, because horror films usually aren't that long. But, it's like we respected Meir and what he wanted, and it's his story and his legacy, really. So.
Now, Maria, what did you think of the finished movie?
Before I answer that, I'm just going to say, okay, Deja Vu comes in at, I think, 2 hours and 28 minutes. Mm-hmm. Since then, we've seen Suspiria coming in at a comparable time. Now we've got Midsommar coming in at almost the same time. So were we at the crest of some new wave in horror? Were we getting the horror epics back? I mean, that could be interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm actually probably going to go see Midsommar again tomorrow. I saw it last week. And long movies don't bother me as long as they're good. Kind of like what Jamie said, whatever it takes to tell a story.
Right, exactly. Now, when I watched the film twice, once when it was just a rough cut, and then once a few days before its release, because I wasn't able to attend the actual premiere. And I found that something very interesting happened to me in the meanwhile. When I watched it the first time, the rough cut, I was still in Becky's headspace. So I was interpreting things like she would, almost. Mm-hmm. But when I watched it just before the premiere, I was very distant from Becky. So I reacted as myself. And the scenes like that incredibly personal scene between Camille and I that I won't be talking about because spoilers, that scene completely blindsided me. And I started crying because what happened to Jennifer Hills. Mm-hmm. It was just seeing the story from a completely different perspective that I was used to. And there are certain things in that film that just blew me away, and that was one of them. And it was just a very intense and emotional experience to see it being completely divorced from the role that I played in it, Yeah,
that's interesting. Is it... do you always watch movies because I was interested, from actors, if you watch a movie you're in, can you watch it as a movie, or do you watch it as, kind of memories of filming the movie?
It's a bit of both, I think, for me. I just noticed a very big difference in that one because I saw it twice. But I don't think I will ever be able to watch myself on screen without being... without criticizing myself in some way. So it does detract a little bit from my seeing it just as a film, because it does become personal to me. Like, oh, I look stupid in that dress, or whatever the hell it is that I'm thinking,
Yeah. How about you, Jamie? Because obviously there's really brutal scenes with you, and to watch yourself on the big screen during those scenes, is that hard to watch?
It's not hard to watch, but I mean, I'm very critical of myself as well, and I really don't like to watch myself. Yeah. But if, enough time has passed, it's funny, I almost feel like it's not me. It's strange because I'm so removed from it after so much time.
Mm-hmm. When you said you were studying, gang rapes and people who go through this, how much of certain things you do were in the script and were just kind of things you did on set, like you're crawling away and trying to pick up like shreds of clothes to cover yourself up with? Like, is that all like in the script, or is this stuff like you're doing while you're in the character?
I mean, not everything you do is always in the script. Definitely not. You know, because you're thinking in the moment and you're acting how you would in the moment. You know, I try to really put myself there as that person and what I would do. So I'm not married to the script at all when it says action and stuff like that. But as far as the dialogue, I mean, Meir wanted us pretty word for word, so that's pretty word for word throughout the film.
Mm-hmm. And Camille, what did you think when you saw the finished movie?
Well, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
Good.
And I criticize myself, too.
Sure.
I think, well, I could have said that differently or done that differently. I think a lot of actors do. And I could have looked a different way, you know. But
were you at the premiere?
Yes, I was.
Okay. So what was it like at the premiere itself? Not even just seeing the movie, but you know, this a role that is important to you. It's like personal to you, and now you make the sequels out, and you're at the premiere. Everyone's going to see it. What's that experience like?
It was fun, you know. Except, well, I had to wear high heels. But, other than that, it was fun and seeing people, and there was a young lady there, and I can't think of her name now. She was in one of the I Spit on Your Graves.
Mm-hmm.
She's in a picture with me and Jamie.
Okay.
Sarah Butler.
Sarah Butler, yes. Yeah, and it was nice to see her again. I had met her before. And just get kind of like all caught up in all the, everybody's excited.
Yeah. So
that was before the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how about when you're actually watching the movie? What's that experience like? So you're up there on the screen and everyone's there watching it?
Well, I was sitting between Meir and my agent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching the movie and I'm thinking, I wonder what they think. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about what Meir thought because
he's made it.
You know, he did the movie,
Right.
but I was wondering, what does my agent think? What does my manager think? And I was pleasantly, how do you say it? I liked it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
I didn't like the part where they were holding my head up in where Becky was holding my head up in the air. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's probably shocking to see on the when you're in.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of liked the grave scene. I was in the grave twice.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I was hiding. The second time, well, I can't go there, but that was interesting.
Yeah. So, Maria, so you weren't at the premiere. Did you ever see it with an audience, or did you watch it like at home?
I watched it with Jamie and Meir Zarchi, our producer, in Terry's studio. I have never seen it with an audience. And I really hope I haven't lost my chance to do that, because I would love to see it with an audience.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you talked about being in the headset of your character. We watched it the first time. So what was it like to actually play the character? Was it, because I would assume sometimes it's fun to play a villain, but was this role different?
It depends what kind of villain you're playing. I often play, for instance, non-human characters, and they're usually like super fun. But Becky's rage comes from a place of pain and irreparable loss to her. So playing her, I don't think could ever be classed as fun. There was just so much emotional baggage that she was carrying around with her all of the time, just all of the time. And of course, once my head's in the character space, it pretty much stays there. So it was a very powerful role, and it empowered me. But I don't think I would class it as fun. You know?
No, I didn't assume so. But I was just comparing to other roles when you play villains and other things. But,
some are because it's just like grr,
right. Yeah. I would think the subject matter would change.
Yeah, the mom in Trophy Heads, for instance, is also a villain, or at least a villain enabling role, and that was so much fun. Oh my gosh, that was fun. But there was the emotional, huge bag she was carrying around. So I think that's the difference, the level of emotion I need to bring to something.
Yeah. Now, Jamie, are you a horror movie fan?
Oh, yeah, definitely, since I've been a child.
Okay. So what were some of the ones that, what are some of your favorite horror movies?
I love the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know why. I was just obsessed with that as a child. They'd play it on TV, and I probably watched it 40 to 50 times. I knew all the lines. I would play Nancy, and then I'd make my friend come over, and she would play Tina, and I'd make her act the scenes out. So I just always loved it. Yeah. Always wanted to be a star of horror films, and it's crazy. Here I am. I don't know how these things happen.
Yeah. What was it horror movie specifically that made you want to be an actor?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I remember having thoughts about acting at age 5 years old. I remember watching TV and be like, oh, why couldn't I have had that role? So it was always in my head. Or I remember, our neighbors took photos of us and I really, really wanted those pictures because we didn't have any photos. My mom didn't even have a camera. It was limited means how I grew up. And I remember really wanting to get those photos from the neighbor because I thought, maybe I'll be an actress one day and people will want to see what I looked like when I was little. Weird thoughts like that I distinctly remember having, so it's just something I always wanted to do. I don't know that there was any one film that went, oh, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's interesting about the photos, because I think about sometimes, because I don't have many photos from when I was a kid or a teenager or in my 20s, but now since everyone has a phone, I have tons of photos of anything that's ever happened in the last 7 years.
Very true.
Yeah,
right.
Man, I probably would have had a lot of pet photos and stuff from when I was a kid, but unfortunately I do not. So
yeah.
I don't know if I ever asked you, Camille. Are you what kind of movies do you like? Do you watch horror movies when you're not in them?
Yeah, I do. One of my favorite movies, I guess it could be classified as a horror movie. I don't know. Was Clockwork Orange? Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. That's one that doesn't really necessarily fit in any category, but it's definitely, I guess, what people say a genre film.
I love that film.
Yeah, it's great. Were there anything that motivated you to become an actor?
Yes, when I was playing paper dolls growing up, before I was even in the first grade, we could play with paper dolls that were Doris Day and real actors. And so they put a stop to that and made it illegal. But I thought, to get to wear all these beautiful dresses that I was cutting out, and putting on the paper doll. I think I want to do this when I grow up.
Yeah. You got to. How about, and we might have asked before, Maria, on the last time you were on, but were you a horror movie fan before you became an actor?
Oh, absolutely. I remember discussing Dracula movies with my mom when I was very, very young, maybe even under 10 years old. She loved horror too, so I always have. I think I inherited that love from just watching her enjoy the genre. And I'm not saying I watch it exclusively, but I do have to force myself to watch outside the genre just to open myself to other film experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you. What was Meir like working with him as the director? And had you ever met him before?
No, I had not met him prior to the callback. He was amazing. He's he's awesome. My best memory of Meir on set is when at lunchtime we used to sit down next to each other and we used to sing songs from musicals that I knew from growing up or when I was acting in musicals, like, I don't know, South Pacific or Oklahoma or whatever it was, because we both knew the songs and we just would start singing and the other one would join in. In the midst of all this like terrible angsty stuff that's happening on set, here we are singing Oklahoma or something. It's very funny.
How physically demanding was Deja Vu to film, Jamie?
Oh my gosh. It was extremely physically demanding and emotionally demanding.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, which is harder to deal with?
I could relax a little, huh?
Which is harder to deal with, physical demands of a film role or the psychological?
Psychological, definitely. I can do physical all day. I mean, I've done a lot of stunt choreography, like martial arts fighting and stuff like that. I've played a martial artist, and I've done a lot of that, a lot of fighting, stuff like that, like how I had to fall into the grave, and that's a stunt, I had to dive in there and land on my belly, and so, yeah, I mean, that I can do all day, but the emotional stuff, that takes way more out of you. I mean, after an emotional day, crying all day, you are exhausted beyond belief.
Mm-hmm. Maria talked about being in the mental space for the character. So, does that affect you, like, during that period when you're playing this role? You said, if it's like a day where you're crying all day, but, like, how long does that stay with you?
I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends. It can be quite a while, where you just kind of, or I get into, like, sort of like a depression, but, I mean, I don't carry it around for a week after the movie's done or anything like that, but, I mean, I had a film where I had to cry and my husband was dying and I literally was sobbing when we were done with that scene. It was uncontrollable and it went on and on during the scene, and then afterwards I probably cried for 2 straight hours. I mean, the stuff you have to pull up, or I do anyway, my different methods that I use can put me in very dark places, but I choose to do it for my art. I've heard some actors say, don't do that, don't pull stuff up from your past, you don't want to do that. But for me, if it's working on that particular day, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get there emotionally, despite the repercussions it may have on me, because I'm going to get over it,
Now, Maria, did you have any say on your wardrobe in the movie?
Yes and no. Meir told me what it was going to be, sort of, and I have some pictures actually of sending him the look in the tank top and the camo pants and some shoes. But when it came to the actual specific pieces of the outfit, no, I didn't have a say in choosing them. I did go and buy my own boots, though. That happened. I was at I think Army Reserve store or something like that, and I found a pair of boots there that fit me, because I've got very tiny feet, so it's got to be a small size. Yeah. And of course, I gave the boots to Meir after we wrapped, so he's got the entire outfit except for the little red rag, which I kept. Ha 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 ha.
Do you keep the things? Do you keep anything from your other movies?
Me? Yeah, I've got a couple pieces. I have the bloodstained nurse's cap from one of my first films, Shelter. I have a picture from, A Gothic Tale, which will never be released because Hollywood. And I have a couple other things, like my bloodstained shoes from Kentucky Fried Zombie, also known as Diner. Get it? So I have a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And how about for you? Was the movie physically? Was it a physically demanding shoot?
Yeah, it was. I'm exactly the opposite to Jamie. Physical for me sometimes can be hard because I have ankles that twist easily, and I fall over shadows and stuff like that. So traipsing through woods in army boots can sometimes be taxing for me, but the emotional stuff I can turn on whenever I want to. So that's one of my favorite stories. My death scene, if you think I died, which sometimes I don't, in Deja Vu, I had a stunt pad on my back, and my co-star in the scene, not Jamie, was supposed to hit on the back, on top of the stunt pad with this fake rock. And every time the stunt pad was missed and I got hit on the back, I got this huge bruise. Yeah, huge. No. Yeah. And I'm like, whatever, just we have to do this for the scene. Let's make it good so people believe it. Bruises go. It's fine. Just carry on. Yeah.
She was black and blue. Like black and blue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Camille, was this role physically demanding for you? I know the original movie was.
Yeah, the original movie was. This movie wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Did you do you interact a lot with Meir still? Like, because you said he emailed you that he wants to do a sequel. Like, you still
yeah, I talk to him from time to time. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Has your view of the original movie ever changed? Like, were you always like? Did you always like to talk about "I Spit on Your Grave"?
No, I did not. It wasn't until a girl came up to me at a convention, and for half an hour she talked to me, and she was crying, and she said, "You have no idea what I Spit on Your Grave meant to me." She had been through something similar, and I realized it had redeeming value to it. And after I spoke to her, I began to appreciate the movie more, a lot more.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, has there since Deja Vu came out? I guess maybe it's a little too early yet, but. What kind of reaction have you gotten from fans?
What kind of reaction have I had?
Yeah.
Haven't. I live in Florida.
Right.
So
a lot of your neighbors probably haven't seen it. Yeah.
It's like nobody has said anything to me about the movie.
Uh-huh. No problem. How about you, Jamie? What's the feedback been for you?
It's been fantastic. I mean, I've gotten tons of fan mail, and they're so nice, and some I've screenshotted it, and I'll repost and thank them. But yeah, I mean, it's been incredible, actually. It was shocking to me, really. I was... because I'm so critical of myself. I'm like, I don't know. It's been very nice, to hear. Yeah.
You mentioned, being a horror movie fan since you were a kid. Were your parents cool with you watching horror movies?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My mom loved horror movies. Like, we would watch Psycho together.
That's one of my favorites.
She loved Alfred Hitchcock. So yeah, we would watch Birds.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So when you started doing the horror movies, do they watch your movies, and or did she watch your movies, and what did she think of them?
No, she can only see movies that are completely clean.
Right.
Yeah, like I grew up Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
So any film that has any nudity or anything like that, I don't want to get into all the list, but there's
Right.
a lot of lists that you cannot see. So yeah, she hasn't seen much, to be honest. I mean, I have a film coming out, The Furnace, a faith-based movie. It's a drama, heart-wrenching drama, beautiful film. I'm like, yes, a movie my mom can see.
Uh-huh.
And she doesn't have the internet, thank goodness. My sister got her a computer, but she mailed it back to her. What am I going to do with this thing? So it's thank goodness she doesn't have the internet because she doesn't know what I'm doing.
Right. Was that ever hard for you then to do movies with nudity or anything that you were raised like not to watch?
Oh yeah, I mean, I before Deja Vu, I hadn't really done nudity. I mean, there, maybe in Killing Joan there was a side, barely, but nothing. It didn't show anything. It was like a side, no nipple, no. It was very clean and like, so I'd barely done literally anything. There was another film. It was kind of a butt shot, but half. But anyway, so I had avoided that, but I was willing to do the nudity for a role that it was justified that there be nudity for that character. I didn't want to do gratuitous nudity with no point.
Right.
Just to have the nudity there to help sell it or something. I didn't want to do that, so I continually avoided that in my career. And doing horror and being a female, it's very tricky to do. So I managed somehow not to do it. And then when Deja Vu came and I knew the film and I believed in the movie and it's necessary with rape. And I'm like, it's just a body. There's nothing wrong with a naked body. It's when it's portrayed in a gratuitous nature that I'm like, it's tricky. As an actress, I want to make smart decisions about that. So, but with Deja Vu, there was no question I was doing the nudity. And I did it the first day of shooting. I didn't know anybody, and I was like, hello.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was the first day. And I'm not shy about it. But yeah, like I said, it was I just want to make smart decisions. And maybe that is from my Catholic upbringing. I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure, possibly.
Mm-hmm. How about Maria? What kind of feedback have you received from fans who've seen it?
Well, actually, I've seen reviews, not necessarily from friends, but from people out there that have covered the entire gamut from it's the best sequel ever to, oh my God, this is the worst movie ever. And I place on record that four of my films have been called the worst movie ever, but that's fine. And one of the reviews, it was actually a negative review that I was like, well, this one just takes the cake. That I actually copied and pasted it on Facebook. Yes, it was one. Somebody absolutely hated the film, and that's fine. It's art. It's out there. People are going to have whatever reaction they wanted to have it. It's absolutely fine. But they decided to take issue with my boobs. I don't know why. I thought they were fine. Other people seem to think they're. And this guy was going on about, I don't want to watch Maria Olsen's ugly boobs. And I'm like, well, that's different.
Oh,
okay.
no.
Yes. Yeah, so, he said that I look like I had amnesia, remember? And I'm like, I think he means anorexia, not remember things. Because I was an anorexic model. I lost weight for the role, but this post was hilarious. Anyway, continue, Marie.
Yeah. It's like people are going to feel how they feel. And, it doesn't worry me at this point. I know Jamie is remembering a time when I was literally crying to her on WhatsApp about some reviews I received, but it's fine now because it's out there and, some people love it, some people hate it, some people don't care, and it's all good. It's all fine.
I do have a thought of people on the internet itself. People tend to either say anything is the greatest thing ever, or it's like the worst thing ever made. And like, there's very little in between. It's not like it's okay or it's pretty good.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
That's true, Neil. You rarely get that. It's one extreme to the other.
Right. So I've wasted whatever time in my life, and I'm like, I mean, there's a lot of middle ground here.
Yeah. I knew when I saw it. I said, because like I said, it's unique. It's different. It doesn't follow the same old model. And I said, people are either going to love this or they are going to hate it. And I think I was right. It is. It's one extreme or the other. But the critics seem to love it, one after the other. We've had amazing reviews, and they're smart viewers. And I mean, that's amazing, right, guys? The critic reviews have been incredible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I have another review that I'm about to share. I just have to get it translated first, and it's one of the most intelligent, most thoughtful, and thought-provoking reviews I've seen. So I cannot wait to share that one.
Oh, very good. It's translated, so what language is it? Where's it from, I guess?
It's in French.
Oh, okay. Very
From
cool.
Yes, a horror journalist and critic in France that I am friends with online.
Interesting. I guess I shouldn't be surprised because people from other countries listen to the show, but it's interesting, that your movie gets out there to all different languages, all different countries.
Siskel and Ebert,
Yeah.
they said, don't go see this movie, whatever you do. Yeah, Siskel and Ebert really hated the movie and told people not to go see it. And I think even went to the theater, one of the theaters, and said, don't see this movie. I guess they were in Chicago. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, how does that affect you at the time?
I cried. It hurt my feelings. And Meir said to me, we were married at the time, he said, Bubala, this is the greatest thing that could ever happen. This is free advertising. Everybody will want to see the movie.
That's very true, because I grew up with Siskel and Ebert, and like they would get very mad, like oddly mad at a lot of like slasher films in the 80s. And I remember Silent Night, Deadly Night. They actually went on TV and were like telling everyone the producers' names, almost like advocating to like not necessarily go to their house, but like send them bad messages. It was very strange. But it just, as a kid, it made me like, man, I really want to see that movie now. It made these people so mad. Yeah. You could probably watch that on your YouTube too, by the way. Jamie, we'll start with you. Where can people follow you if they want to see what you're up to? Not at your house, but like where they can follow you.
Please, no, not at my house. I'm very active on Instagram. I love photography and traveling, so it's kind of like my hobby. So my Instagram is at Jamie Bernadette, spelled just like my name. So it's easy to find. And then I'm on Facebook as Jamie Bernadette, and I think there's a couple other fan pages too, but I have a regular account that people can follow me on. And then I'm on Twitter under Jamie Bernadette, but the E is not on the end. So I think I'm verified, so it's easy to find me.
Right. Is that just because they don't allow enough characters? So you had to drop the E at the end?
No, because somebody had it.
Oh, okay.
With like two best friends. Trust me, I did my research because I was going to get it.
Right.
It was like two best friends, and then they never used the account, so it's unfortunate. Yeah, so I just dropped the E, but for Twitter. But.
Yeah. So E-list on Twitter. Maria Olsen, where can people follow you?
Also Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I am Maria Olsen 66, the two numbers, 6 and 6, everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I'm pretty active on all three sites, except I disappear from Twitter every so often, but I always come back.
All right, fair enough.
I do too. Funny.
Yeah. So why didn't you go all the way with the third 6 for Maria Olsen?
Because it doesn't stand for the 666. It stands for the thing.
All right. I was thinking something entirely different. I'm sorry, Maria. I did not mean to insinuate that you were satanic.
It's the year of my birth, 1966, so that's why I just 6 on it, everything.
All right, fair enough. I put 76 on a lot of things for the same reason. Camille Keaton, where can people follow you if you want them to follow?
Facebook.
You? All right.
Facebook.
Yeah, you're very active on the Facebook.
Yeah, I'm pretty active. I've got 3 pages. One is Camille Keaton, or actually maybe 2 of them are Camille Keaton. But there must be a difference. One of them is Camille Keaton, and then the other one is Camille Keaton, the real Camille Keaton, and then I have one called Actor.
All right, yeah. You just look, you'll find all of them. And do you have anything coming out? Well, obviously, people can get I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu, but do you have anything that you're working on?
Yeah, I do have a film coming out. It's called Cry for the Bad Man.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
And it's a home invasion that happens to me, and so I get my guns out and go to work.
Very good. I look forward to that. Marie, do you have anything in the works?
Yeah.
Actually, I had a feature film come out 2 days ago on the 9th. It's called Actions. Yeah. And it's out on iTunes and wherever you can, get VOD movies, etc. So that's awesome. And what am I working on?
Yeah.
The last thing I shot was Los Angeles Shark Attack with Dustin Ferguson. And I've shot about 10 films so far this year. I get confused about what day it is, never mind what film I'm shooting right now. Mm-hmm. Ashes came out, and I think Ghost in the Graveyard is going to be the next one to come out.
Very good. It's always nice to see Maria pop up in a movie.
Yeah.
And Jamie, do you have anything in the works?
Yeah, I have a film called The Colonials, and I'm starting in August. It's a sci-fi, actually.
Cool.
It's a really, really fun script. Yeah, a lot of fun. And then back to South Africa in September for a movie there with director Daryl Root again, and the producing team there, the same one I've worked on, The Furnace. And then November, I have another film which I can't talk about, but it's amazing. And it's like a horror thriller film. So, yeah.
Maybe I'll be back in November then to talk about it.
Okay.
Or sometime after when it's not when you're filming it, but when it's released.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Unless you're too big by then to talk to us, but we'll find out. So,
you're silly.
We'll understand.
I want to thank all 3 of you coming on. It was a great time talking to you, and hope everyone checks out Deja Vu on video on demand or get the Blu-ray, DVD, whichever you prefer. And thanks again for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.